Welcome to So Geo, the podcast where everyone has a story to tell.
So, today we are welcoming an athlete who truly impressed us. At just 22 years old, he has already experienced everything that comes with elite sport: the sacrifice, the intensity, the daily pressure, the travel, the injuries, and the goal that can change everything. In this pit, all of that, he keeps moving forward, performing, and growing. Born in Mississauga, he started gymnastics at 4 years old, became a pommel horse specialist, which he finally going to explain to us what is it. And he ended up qualifying Canada for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. We really don't realize how huge it is.
He has a Commonwealth Game medal, a silver medal at the Pan Am Game. He's been the national team since he had 15, and when we ask him, he used three words: busy, stressful, fulfilling. If I right. Today, we are going to understand what that means for him and why this word describe him so well.
He is a student, an athlete, a writer, and he also went through something very difficult: the sudden retirement of his coach, the one he had left his family for. A transition that could have changed everything. We're going to talk about his journey, his discipline, what gymnastics truly require on daily basis, the mental aspect, his family, and what keep him going in this sport. Welcome to So Geo with Jason Rampersad.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
As always, we won't start by a surprise question. Jason, if you can hit pause in 1 hour in your life, right now, what do you do?
If I can hit pause for 1 hour, that's a really good question. I think I'd probably hit pause and finish that essay I've been putting off.
Oh, yeah.
My life is so busy. I'd probably just use that hour as extra time.
It's nice answer.
Yeah, it's nice answer. Yeah, you did. You write one book, right? This
Yes.
one, just right here, Memory of a Lover.
It's
And
basically when you have time. Oh,
That is more or less a free time endeavor.
um, just a small question: how many years you write this book? Just this one?
That process of writing that book took about a year.
Oh, okay, that's not
Yeah.
that bad.
A year from starting writing the manuscript to the actual publication date.
It's not that bad actually. It's okay. I don't
It's
know.
not too
I'm
bad.
not.
It's not too bad.
Okay, fine. Okay, for people discovering you today, how would you describe yourself?
For people that are discovering me, I think I would describe myself as motivated, determined, and disciplined.
Yeah, I see that on Instagram, so pretty much.
it's look like a motivation phrase.
Quote.
Determined.
Motivation quote.
Okay, you start the gymnastic at 4. What are you to this sport?
What am I to this sport? I think that in this sport, I'm a leader. There's lots of little kids that look up to me, and not necessarily only little kids, but young adults that look up to me. And I want to think that in this sport, I'm a big inspiration for them to continue to push and achieve their goals.
Okay, and if you can tell something to you at 4 years, what can be like when you start the gymnastics, the first time you step in like gymnastic
Yep.
Room, yeah, I don't know what. Arena?
Gym.
Gym.
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
a gym. Training hall. That's another thing you can call it. But I think that if I could talk to my younger self before I even stepped in the gym, I would probably reassure myself and say, listen, you're going to go through a lot of stuff. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. There's going to be days where you don't want to get in the gym, but you really just need to push through it and believe in yourself because you are definitely capable to achieve whatever you want. I think I would offer my younger self reassurance in the journey, in the process.
It's funny because like we had Olivia 2 weeks ago, maybe, and like she told us exactly the same.
Yeah, and I feel like athlete, it's really this. when you start, we not prepare for all what gonna be after.
The ride.
But when you look like far away, you can say, yeah, we do by a lot of stuff, but in some time it's good to do it.
Yeah.
If you told me 4-year-old, if you told 4-year-old me that I'd be where I am today, he wouldn't believe you.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. He would not believe you.
Same for me. She was a bit like, what? um, what hooked you to this sport?
There's so many things that I love about this sport that keep me coming back. I love the intricacies in the sport. It's very technical, and that is something that really fascinated me in the beginning. But what keeps me coming back is the sense of camaraderie I have with my team.
Mhm.
That that work that you go through with a team is something incredible, and the bond you forge with your friends and your teammates through that is just, I find it hard to find that anywhere else. I can only really find that through sport.
So, like, gymnastic is a team sport, not an
It is a
individual.
team sport, but also an individual sport.
Okay, can you explain that?
So in gymnastics, there's a couple different competition format styles. There's team competitions and then there's individual competitions. So when you compete as part of a team, it is a 5-man team. And of any 5 athletes, you can pick 4 to compete on the event. And then the 4 that compete, 3 of the best scores count towards the team score. So you do that across all 6 events, and then whatever the total is, that's your team score.
Okay.
And then individually, you can individually compete in the all around competition, which is the combination of all 6 scores across all your events. Or you can be somewhat of a specialist like I am, where you compete one event and you hopefully make it into event finals for that event.
Wow. Okay. So it's better to be in the team than. No, yeah.
Mm, the team is the composition of the individuals.
Yeah.
So there is no team if everybody doesn't do their job.
Yeah, okay. Okay, makes sense. You were born in Mississauga. How did you end up in Montreal?
So I was born in Mississauga, raised in Oakville, and I started out the sport over there in Ontario, and I transitioned to a couple different gym clubs throughout my career before I ended up here. And really, what brought me here is the best in the country are training here, and some of the best in the world are training here, among the best coaching and arguably one of the best gymnastic systems we have in Canada. That is why I came to Montreal. I moved here for sport and to give myself the best opportunity to achieve my dreams.
Okay. And it's like close. Is it like, I don't know how it works, but like, is it close to Concordia? Is it inside the campus of Concordia?
So
It's like
for us, we're training at the gym club Laval Excellence sometimes. So it's just north of Montreal, or we're training at the Olympic Stadium in the INS section.
Okay.
Okay, can you explain for us like what is artistic gymnastic? Like we are kids and we
Like we are 6 years old, you know?
So to explain it simply, artistic gymnastics is um, the judgment of a routine. A routine is 8 skills, and you have a potential score depending on how difficult those 8 skills are. And then you have an execution score of how well you perform them. You combine them, and that's your final score.
Okay. Yeah, completely different than ice dance.
yeah, basically yeah.
So your specialty is pommel horse,
It's
right?
correct.
What makes this apparatus so difficult?
This apparatus is really difficult because it requires a really great amount of strength while still maintaining flexibility. You
Mhm.
have to have the best of both worlds. You can't be just completely flexible or completely strong. You have to really find that middle ground. And I would argue, some people would disagree with me, but I would say in the gymnastics sport, pommel horse is one of the more, if not most technical events.
It's like we say in ice dance, you know, it's difficult. It's harder than pairs, you know. Yeah.
It's definitely amongst the most technical events. The amount of balance you need, the amount of flexibility and strength, you have to really find a good combination of them to really make that event work and to be able to produce something of high quality on it.
Yeah, I was watching one of your video in Instagram and I was like, it's look easy. And when I try it, it's like, no,
Well,
it's not fun.
that's the goal for us. We're supposed to make it look easy.
Yeah.
I think it's a goal. Like in
Well, congrats.
we need
It
The,
look
the easier I make it look, the better I'm doing.
yeah, it's look easy, so congratulations.
But for you, what is the little details the public not see, and for you change everything in the sport?
I think that there's a bunch of little details that a lot of people don't see that happen behind the scenes during training or the before you march in, before competition, stuff like that. The thing a lot of people don't see is I'm sure they can imagine and maybe see the tension on our faces when we actually get to the competition. We try to hide it, but sometimes it peeks through. I think that they don't understand that that tension still exists outside of the competition floor. There's days in the gym where tensions are high and you're butting heads with your teammates and your coaches. It happens, and a lot of people don't really see that because when we come out to the competition floor, we're all smiley, we're happy, it's great to be there, we're focused on our goals. But behind the actual competition curtain, there's a lot of tension, and that's one of those little things that really people often forget about,
Mm.
especially with the digital world we're in now. We're only posting what we want people to see.
Yeah.
Even for me, there's a video yesterday. We were doing conditioning, and I was really struggling, and one of my teammates got a video of it. I'm like, oh, please don't post it. Please don't post it. I don't want people to see that.
Yeah, but it's like the reality. People think like when you watch Instagram, people think like, oh my God, he is so lucky. Look at him, looks so good and like so simple and whatever. And they are dreaming of that. But the reality behind the video is like completely different.
Yeah.
It's like, influencer. Sometimes, you see them in Monaco with the watch and whatever, like rich.
Yep.
And you don't know what is behind. Maybe they just rent the room and like take Apple Watch of someone else and just do 5 picture and that's it.
Yep.
That's what is on social media is not the reality in their life.
No, it definitely isn't. One of my coaches used to say, and the context of this is I before one of my big competitions when I was an up and coming senior, I was getting really, really nervous watching my competition. And my coach offered me these reassuring words, and he goes, every fire burns with more smoke. So no matter what you see, who knows what they actually have burning?
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. So yeah. Oh yeah. So that's the question I asked off the camera. But what do you sometimes compete on other apparatus like ring? Is it mandatory, strategic, just for fun?
It's definitely strategic. So, like I was saying about the team competition earlier, you have a total of 4 guys that can go up and compete, and essentially you only have 5 guys you can use at a competition.
Okay.
And you have to be strategic with who you're sending and what events that they do. So there's a fourth score that doesn't count in the qualification round. And you basically want to use that fourth score as a safety score in case something happens to the best 3 that are supposed to count. So that's one of the reasons why I sometimes do other events as a safety score to cover for the team in case something happens. So it was yes, it was Commonwealth Games in 2022, and one of our guys on the team did his ACL right before we left. Still came to competition, found out the results while we were over there. So they're like, Jason, you're gonna do floor. I'm like, okay. They go, your score probably won't count, but we need you as a backup because we can't afford to count a fall and maybe not qualify to the World Championships that year. So it's definitely strategic in terms of the team composition.
So like, I have so many questions. Sorry. It's like we see you on Instagram doing pommel horse, but like we don't think that you are so like you need to prepare for everything else. Like this floor, ring, pommel horse.
Well, I don't necessarily need to prepare for all 6. It depends on what the other guys are doing too.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of guys that are strong on P bars, high bar, floor, vault, I don't necessarily need to work on those for if it's a team competition. However, if I know that there's going to be a hole on rings, or maybe there will be a hole on P bars in the future and at team competitions, then that's where I need to be ready to step in and take on whatever role that the team needs at that competition.
Yeah, so basically you are like complete athlete. You need to
Yeah.
have like so much
That is,
different
as a specialist who sometimes does other events, that's definitely my job. I'm there complementing the team how I can.
Okay.
In terms of me being a specialist and doing other events, though, everybody's counting on my pommel score to count. So that's like, I'm not a safety score there. I'm expected to hit. And then on the other events, it's like, oh, okay, maybe you'll count, maybe you won't, but we need you there just in case. It's a safety net.
Mm. So it's always different between competition. Like
Yep.
it's never the same.
Yeah, over the last at FISU games, we were competing in Germany, and we had one of our younger seniors with us on the team, Matteo Bardana. He's an incredible athlete, and we were very strategic with our events and who was doing what. And we had a competition a little bit before that where I outscored him on rings. So I took his ring spot at FISU games because we wanted to give ourselves the best potential to have the highest
Yeah.
score. And that was just how it worked out that competition. If he had decided that he was going to do rings and maybe I wasn't as in shape for that event, he would have done it and then I would have only done the one. So these are little things that sometimes they are decided months in advance or they're decided the day of if injury or something else happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but example for someone in who never watch a competition of gymnastic. What what should they look at for? Like exactly what you can like focus on or
I think that when you're watching gymnastics, you should enjoy how how incredibly artistic it looks. It's really cool to watch. Even me, I've been doing this sport my entire life, and I'm still amazed by some of the things that people can do or how they can make a certain skill look a certain way. There's so much diversity in the sport too. A lot of people perform the same skills different ways. There's a lot of different gymnastic styles, and I think that's something that's very interesting to notice while you watch the sport. It's really difficult to watch the sport if you're trying to like judge it yourself and predict what's going to happen because it's very technical. There's a very big rule book of everything that goes on. And I think that people, when they watch the sport, they should really just enjoy the show that we put on because it is very much a performance. It's a sport that's meant to be judged.
Mm. Yeah. it's like when you look at it, it need to look like easy, right? Like everyone
Exactly.
can say, "Oh, it's easy. I can do it." But like when you try it, it's like impossible. I
The
tried
easier we make it look, the better it's being done.
exactly. Okay, so you spoke. You did like in your form. You write that you are busy, stressful, fulfilling, and I want to know what makes your life busy right now.
So for me, my life is, well, it was really busy. I would say that more or less I'm in a kind of downtime after World Championships. But when it comes to competition season after the Christmas break, my life is incredibly busy. So not only am I a student, I'm a full-time student, which is demanding in itself. I'm also training 30 hours a week in the gym. And on top of that, I'm working on my next book. So I'm just trying to fit in whatever I can, wherever I can. And on top of that, I have a very active social life. I really enjoy spending time with my friends. So there's not really one day that goes by where I don't have something that needs to get done.
what was the what is truly stressful you in your daily basic?
For me, what's truly stressful is trying to coordinate everything and plan. Because for me, a lot of the stuff that comes across my desk to do is very last minute in terms of competition assignments, where I'm going to be going, where I'm going to be traveling, what days I need to take off, and stuff like that. A lot of that comes in very last minute, so it's really hard to plan with the other aspects of my life. So that planning aspect is always a nightmare.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, you know. We know what you mean. What makes you all of this full fighting? What feeds you in this intense rhythm?
I think that I find the busyness fulfilling. I'm working towards something, and the fact that I'm busy means that I'm making the right steps towards it. And sometimes it doesn't feel fulfilling. Sometimes it feels overwhelming, and that I'm just burning myself out. But then I'm always remembering, okay, like, yeah, I'm busy, but I'm busy for a reason. And that gives me a sense of fulfillment that, hey, I'm working towards something and I'm getting there. Even if it's slow or some days it's quicker, I'm still just chipping away at what I want to achieve.
Do you wish sometime to like just have nothing in your day and just
Oh, yeah. I definitely do. I usually try to keep one day a week where I just have it to myself and can do what I want. Sometimes that's not always the case, but I really, over the past couple years, have gotten much, much better at taking time for myself. So I think that I do wish sometimes, but I'm also very good at making time for myself if I need it.
and like what you do if you have one day off?
If I have one day off, well, today was kind of a day off before I came here. I didn't train, so I learned to play a new song on the guitar and piano.
Oh, so like okay, you play guitar, you're a gymnastics student, you write the book, what you don't do? Like
I don't play the violin yet.
oh
I think that'll be the next one I learn.
so you play guitar
Yes, I do.
and piano?
And piano, yeah.
So this it's completely opposite of gym. It's
Yeah.
give you like
I try to
rest
have
or
I try to have stuff that entertains me outside gymnastics. If I have a bad day at gym, I don't want to go home and think about or do more gymnastics. I want to just leave it at the door and just do something else. And I didn't always have that when I was younger, and it made it really, really hard when I'd go through points in my training where I was plateauing. And eventually my mom had a guitar lying around the house. I'm like, hey, can I borrow that? And that was kind of how that started, and it became a real way to relax in times where I'm plateauing or not really progressing the way I want to in my training.
Why you don't post that on Instagram?
I think I have before.
Yeah?
I think so.
Well, the last post I saw it was only gymnastic.
Oh, that's because I haven't been home in a while.
Oh,
I've been traveling for the last little bit.
okay.
Usually it's on
I
my
see.
stories.
Okay, I see. So you told us about your coach that left you. You left your family young to train, and your coach suddenly retired. How did you experience that?
So how old was I? I don't even, was I driving? Yes, I was. I was 17 when my coach suddenly retired. And this coach was uh, a really inspirational figure in my life. He, I had, um, I had just transferred from another gym, and I was really, really not feeling the sport. I was not having it. I was ready to retire, and I was going through a lot of changes in my life. It was at a point where I was starting high school, and when I got to this coach, he really rekindled that flame that I had as a young kid, and we really worked hard together to make some really, really great things happen. So when I was around 17, 18, I can't quite remember how old I
Mhm.
was at the time, when he retired suddenly, it was extremely detrimental. It really hurt. And
He
I
was your first coach?
no, he was
No.
not. He was my second,
Okay.
what I would consider my second coach.
Okay.
And that point in time was a really, really low point. I was considering going into the NCAA at the time for gymnastics, and I this is something that I talked actively with him about. And me and him had sat down one time, and he said, "Listen, like I really hope you stay in Canada and will continue to work with me to get you to the Olympics, because that was always me and his goal." And when he suddenly retired, it really felt like he had turned his back on that dream. And the circumstances of his retirement were very obscure, and I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't really get an explanation as to why.
Mm-hmm.
He just stopped showing up one day, and that was kind of it.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's hard.
It was hard for a father figure to leave like that.
Yeah.
I can understand everybody has their own lives to live, And I think I just really would have loved to have had the chance to shake his hand and say thank you for everything you've done for me.
Did you after that like see him and ask question?
I have not seen him or any of his family since.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like you felt abandoned.
Yeah, that is exactly it. And at the time, it was me and my teammate Chris Kaji. We were training through COVID with all the precautions necessary. So it was just us in the gym. And the three of us formed a really, really great bond. And we spent hours together every day. And they were the only people we could see during COVID.
Yeah.
So we're bound to get close. And I think that that really, really hurt both me and my teammate Chris.
So what is it you the hardest during this transition?
This transition was really hard because he was always a big sense of guidance. He was a big role model to me. Um, he had been around the sport longer than I had, and he was really guiding me through the necessary steps I would need to take. I was a very confused young adult trying to figure out my place in this gymnastics world, and he really helped show me a good way to go about figuring that out. He didn't necessarily always tell me what I should or shouldn't do. He would kind of lead me in the right way to figure it out for myself, which is something I am very thankful for. He did let me become my own gymnast. And I think that when he retired, that was the hardest point transitioning out from being coached by him because that guidance wasn't there anymore.
Mhm.
It was not like I got waned off it or he slowly, it was just cut dry.
Yeah, so it's like losing your reference point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and did you think about stop your career in this moment, or like the question
I
maybe
definitely
was,
did. There's been a couple points in my career where I've questioned like, is it time to hang up the grips? Is this it? And it was definitely something I considered. I didn't consider it right away when he retired, um, because he retired right before I competed at Pan Am Championships and Commonwealth Games. So I didn't really have time to process or think about that. I still had a job to do to achieve my own goals, and I think that when I got back, I had a really two great comps. They were really, really great. It was my first major games that I'd been to, and I came away with a medal. I was over the moon. And then I came back and I'm thinking like, yeah, like I'd done some really great things in the sport already. I don't have that guidance anymore. Is almost as if things were aligning for retirement. Um, but something deep inside me, the love I had for the sport kind of just kept me going. And through that next year, I transitioned to another gym. I was trying to find my place in the sport, and I met a really great coach. His name is Xiaowei, and me and him made some really great things happen in the year I was under his coaching. And unfortunately, the gym club that I was at cut their men's program, which means he doesn't have a job anymore. I don't have a place to train anymore. And that was the common theme amongst gyms in Ontario. Not many men's gyms are opening, most of them are closing. I didn't really have anywhere to go. So this was another point in my career where I'm like, is this it? Am I done? Like, where am I going now? And then the thought of moving to Montreal came into my head. And that was the last big transition that I had in the sport.
Okay. You pushed through it, right? It was difficult, but you're still here. Um, what did that period teach you about yourself?
That period taught me about myself that I need to ask for help more. It was tough and I really tried to go it alone and just deal with everything I was feeling and everything I was going through alone. I didn't really talk to anybody about it. And it kind of made me realize that sometimes I can't do it alone. And it wasn't until about a couple months later after like my coach retiring where me and my teammate who was also training with him, we really sat down and we had a talk about it and just being able to open up to somebody like that and just get their feedback, get their advice or even give mine going back and forth, it really really helped me deal with that. So I think that part of my life really taught me that it's okay to ask for help and that I should ask for help more often.
so how you did you rebuild after that?
The rebuild after that was slow. I started out just trying to go back into the gym and make sure I made myself show up because that's half the battle, showing up. So I kept myself going to the gym even if I didn't want to, even if I was the only one in there. I just kept going. And eventually I had that accountability to myself where, okay, if I'm here, I can't just be here. I have to be putting in the work. And the thought in the back of my head was I couldn't let my younger self down. I've gotten this far for him. I can't let him down. I can't let his dreams fade out. So that's why I kept pushing, and that was the big thought that helped me rebuild after losing such an important figure in my life.
Did you use like some mental coach or prepare coach?
No, I didn't. And looking back, I really do wish I had. I think it would have made the transition faster or maybe even easier to get over such a loss of a really inspirational figure in my life. Um, I really wish I did, but I did not. I tried to go it alone.
So let's go to something a bit more positive. Um, competition, about the competition and results. We have talked about World 2023, which you describe as your best moment. Tell us the scene as we were there.
This is a great story. Like anybody you ask on the national team will tell you that this is one of the best moments we have had in our entire gymnastics careers. So the amount of tension leading up to this was crazy. It's our last chance to qualify a team for the Olympic Games. And Canada hadn't qualified a men's team in a really really long time.
How?
So we definitely felt the weight of our country on our backs. So we're going into this competition and we start off on pommel horse, which notably has been Canada's weaker apparatus for the last couple years. We start that event and we absolutely kill it. We've I don't think we've ever put up a better pommel team score ever. We did absolutely excellent. So that energy is just through the roof right now. We got the first one done. We're all happy. All right, but now it's time to lock in. We still got 5 more to go. We go to rings. Rings we've always done decently well on. Rings was a stable score for us for the most part. So we go through rings. We hit our routines. We do our job. Done. I'm not competing at this point. My job was done on pommel, so I just get to be a cheerleader, water boy, little masseuse. That's all I'm doing at this point. So I'm just enjoying the ride. And then we go to vault, and here's where we have a big oops. One of our So we were supposed to go 3 up 3 count on vault, so we don't have a safety score here.
Mhm.
This was the plan. We weren't going to have a safety score because we thought our guys would do good on vault. And one of our guys on vault, Willemard, goes and he misses his vault completely. He does absolutely not what he's supposed to do, and that score comes up, and we're like, this might be it. We might not qualify a team. And at the last minute, one of our other teammates, Zachary Clay, jumps in and does another vault for the safety that he wasn't supposed to do because his ankle was kind of injured to put up a score that puts us back in the running for an Olympic spot. When that happened, all of us, he went off like, so the vault strip is very long.
Mhm.
So he's at the other end of the competition venue and we're all back here. He goes and he misses his vault and he kind of just goes down into the corner like this and covers his face. And we're all just kind of looking at each other like, what just happened? Is that it? Is it done? And he kind of walks back over to us, doesn't say a word. And we've all trained together for a very, very long time. We know that if he's like this, don't go over, don't try to pity him, nothing. He just wants to be left alone and he'll figure it out for himself. So we're just letting him do his thing. And uh, my other teammate Zach, the one that saved us, and I think it's very accurate to say that he saved us because he did. He goes up and does a really really good vault that puts us back in the running, but we're not as safe as we were before. So we move on to the next event, and we're all just trying to rally and recover from that like heart rate spike.
Yeah.
We're all just boom, 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 boom. So it was at this point where we're about to start our next event, and our alternate for that competition, he was on the competition floor with us, and he goes, "Guys, I think we need a huddle. I think we need to really get behind each other and really make this happen." So he calls a huddle, and he really just, I don't even remember what he said because this whole moment is just such like a blur of emotions. And he just said some really, really motivational things, some words of encouragement, and we kind of all calmed down and we got the energy back that we lost when we had that big scare. And we go to P bars and we're doing great. We get to high bar. We do really good on high bar. And then we come to floor, the last event. So this is the one that's going to decide it.
Mhm.
And we are one of the last subdivisions. So essentially, we're going to know if we made it or not right after this competition. And we go and our guys go on floor, and we come to our last guy, who is Felix. Felix is one of our big hitters on floor. He's supposed to put up a really, really big score. And we're all just on our knees, crouched down, hiding, like just trying to watch but not watch and jinx anything. And when he landed that routine, all of us went absolutely crazy. I have a frame picture on my wall of all of us just arms thrown up, screaming our heads off that we did it, because the score hadn't come in yet, but we knew with that routine we had secured our spot. And I remember all of us ran out to the onto the competition floor, which we weren't supposed to do. It was a little bit of
Oops.
an oops. And we all just ran out. We hugged them. We're hugging everybody, and they're like, "No, no, you can't all be out here. You gotta go. You gotta go." And we finally come back, and we're looking at the score, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, we qualified in fourth."
Wow.
I think that was the best finish we have ever had at a World Championships, which is crazy because we we were more or less expecting, okay, maybe seventh, maybe eighth. The top 12 qualify. If we're in the top 12, we're happy. But to qualify in the fourth position, not only did we qualify our team for the Olympic Games, but we also qualified for the team final at World Championships, which was absolutely huge. And that moment is something I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, some moment like this is not just sport, it's moment of your life. I think you remember this like all your life,
And I don't
basically.
even remember like what words were said, what conversations, like what cheers were going on. I don't remember. It's just a blur of emotions.
But after this, what is your feeling? Because you qualified the Canada for the Paris Olympics. So what is your feeling when you come home?
When I came home, it was we had a we had a big welcoming party for us at the airport, and I have never been more proud of myself and my team. Um, when I used to travel a lot, and I'd never had like people waiting to celebrate me when I got back home. So that was a really, really different feeling I had after this accomplishment. Like, oh wow, there's people back home that are actually watching. There's people back home that are rooting for us. It was very inspirational to see that I was inspirational. That's how I'd say the feeling was when I came back.
Yeah, when we do like performance, like you do it for yourself, you did that for whole your life, you train for that. And like after when we are out of this performance, you think you're alone, but no, there's so many behind you, there's so many people, your
Yeah,
family, like so many people watching you and like cheering for you. And like,
yeah,
yeah, the feeling is like
yeah. Like
so.
after competition, yeah, you go out, you get your medal, you come back in. Chances are there's a doping control officer waiting for you. So now you really feel alone. And then you walk out of those doors after you're done, and the fans are waiting for you, asking for autographs, and you're like, I'm really not alone. I'm not alone in this sport. The spectators, the fans, the support staff, your families, they're just as much part of the sport as you are.
Yeah. So your silver medal at the Palm Games. What the first word that came to you?
The first word that came to me after that medal, if I have to pick one word, I'd say wow.
Yeah.
I, that might sound a little stereotypical, but I'd say wow, because not only did I win a silver medal, but my teammate won the gold. Me and him went one and two, which is absolutely an incredible finish to take those top two spots, and especially for both of those athletes to come from a supposedly weaker nation on pommels, we really just proved everybody wrong. We're like, no, we're not weak. We're strong, and this is what we can do.
What is exactly this competition? What?
Pan Am Games.
Yeah.
So it's all the Pan American countries: Canada, U.S., Mexico, South America.
Okay, so it's like important.
It's continental championships.
Oh, I see. Okay.
For you, what is the difference between performing well and be exceptional in your sport?
Ooh, that's a great question. For me, performing well for me is, I'm gonna quote one of my coaches. He was our national team director for a long time, and performing well basically means not doing too many things right so long as you don't do too many things wrong. Now, nothing's ever gonna be absolutely perfect, but the closest you can be without too big errors, that is what performing well is. I think that performing well is also not necessarily just the result, but a mental reflection. Performing well, knowing that you gave it your all and absolutely giving it 100% of everything you had that day. I think that if you can walk away with that, regardless of the result, you performed well. And that's exactly how I felt after this last World Championships. I got food poisoning before competition, was not in top shape. I had a pinched nerve in my elbow. It was like, it was a really bad prep before the competition. And I still went out and I competed, and it was nowhere near what I can be capable of doing when I'm 100%. But I know that I gave 100% of what I had at that competition. So I still think that I performed well despite the result.
Yeah. Food poisoning. My God.
Yeah, that's a new one for me. I've never had food poisoning at a competition.
That's so good. So this year you finished second at the University game. How did you experience that result?
That result was crazy. Not let alone we came silver. Let alone we got a silver medal next to Japan, who is the best and strongest country, arguably in the world. But also the fact that we weren't even really supposed to go to that competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a little bit of a back and forth with our federation to send us. It was really complicated because it's not a it doesn't qualify us for the Olympics or Worlds, and they kind of viewed the competition as a whatever,
Yeah, it's
which
like
which I was like, really, like that I didn't understand. So shout out to our athlete rep who really went back and forth with the federation to send a team. It was definitely a really complicated process getting us there, but once we actually got there, to come away with the team silver medal after almost not showing up, that is incredible. And we never expected to win that silver medal because there was some really really strong countries that put together some really really great teams there. So we were expecting, oh, okay, you know what, sixth is realistic. And it comes to the last subdivision, and we're still sitting in second. And we're like, oh my god, are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do it? And then the last score from the last competitor comes in, and we did.
wow.
And we're just sitting in the stands going crazy.
Yeah. Going crazy is the word of the episode, right?
Yeah, that is exactly it. And that was the best finish Canada had ever had as a team at FISU.
Why, like, why the federation didn't think that it's like a great competition? Like,
That's a great question. I wish I could answer that because if you ask me, it's a really prestigious international competition. It's a multi-game sporting event. Japan sent their A team, so it's not like a throwaway competition. And I think that the federation didn't view it as important because it didn't qualify us for the Olympics or World Championships, which in terms of everything else they're the biggest ones that we have. So I think that they were hesitant to send us
mhm.
for that reason, but also the fact that a lot of us had been competing a lot recently. and they more or less wanted to rest the athletes to be ready for the world championships that would come in the following fall. So maybe that's why they didn't want to send anybody. I never really got a straight answer for why it was such a struggle to get there. But
For season, okay, in ice dance, our season starts in like end of August, September, and we done at March because the World Championship is March. So how for you it start when?
well, it's pretty much all year round. um, so the
First competition, last competition.
I'd say the first competition is usually 1 month after the new year.
Okay.
And the last big competition is probably World Championships, which is middle to end of October usually. So there's like 2 months in there where you kind of have nothing to do.
Yeah, but you need to practice.
You need to stay in shape. You still need to practice, and
Yeah.
there's other little competitions going on. For the most part, for the international athletes that are competing at like World Championships, Olympic Games, multi-game sporting events like that, um, they're usually taking rest after Worlds. Those 2 months are usually their time where they kind of slow down, rest. Exactly what I'm doing right now. So
Okay.
it's pretty much an all year thing. And that being said, though, there is still high caliber athletes that continue to compete and train at a high level after World Championships.
Yeah.
For example, Felix Dolce, my teammate, he's actually competing in the Bundesliga final today in Germany.
Wow.
So he gets no rest.
Yeah.
In your sport, where does the hardest pressure come from?
The added pressure? I think that obviously we all put pressure on ourselves, but I think that there's a multitude of different avenues that added pressure can come from. I think that added pressure can come from the expectations of others. Everybody has their own expectations for you, and if you don't live up to them, it definitely increases the pressure and tension you feel internally. I think that sometimes the equipment can put some pressure on you as well. We have had some equipment malfunctions and failures in the past couple little bit. Um, Sometimes grips snap, sometimes equipment breaks or malfunctions. It happens. So there's that always that little what if that kind of adds pressure. What if this happens? It's out of my control
Yeah.
type thing. It's often that on high bar and rings we wear grips. So grips snap sometimes, and if you're not 100% sure in your grips, sometimes that what if becomes a big mental game for you.
Yeah. Is it a dangerous sport?
I would say it is a very dangerous sport.
Your specialty or
My specialty is the least dangerous apparatus,
okay.
I will say. Um, there's not much height involved, there's not much speed involved, so it is possible to hurt yourself on pommel horse, but it's pretty rare. The majority of the time, you just whack your shins off the wooden handle. That's a reoccurring thing for anybody that does pommel horse. But gymnastics, as a whole, is a very very dangerous sport. Um, Now we have a lot of mats and we have a lot of safety precautions to make sure that nothing happens, but it happens from time to time. There was at the Olympic Games, Felix Dolce was competing on high bar and his grip snapped, causing him to fly off the bar uncontrollably. Luckily, he was okay, but it could have been very, very bad. Um, at FISU Games, one of the Italian gymnasts had a little slip on the rings doing his dismount, and he severely, severely injured his neck because of it. It is a very, very dangerous sport, and despite all the mats and all the precautions we have, sometimes these injuries still happen.
Yeah, like in every sport, I will say. How do you stay mentally steady during the day that are busy, stressful?
I think that to maintain that mental stability through the day, um, I use what's called transition time. So before I go and start something new, I always allocate a certain amount of time where I can just rest and let my mind reset before I go on to the next thing. So if I'm, let's say I'm studying, I will take 5 minutes by myself, drinking coffee, doing something else before I start driving to gym or before I start training. I think that those little mental breaks really help me not burn out too fast throughout the day, especially if it's going to be a long day. I think that those little mental breaks in between when I'm doing things, and even in the gym, these little mental breaks between turns really, really help me keep pushing throughout the day.
What do? You do meditation?
So, in the gym specifically, for the most part, in between my turns, I'll sit and I'll think about what I just did.
Okay.
I'll think about what I'm going to do next turn. I'll think about, okay, maybe last practice I tried this. So, in between turns in the gym, it's a lot of reflection in between turns to not entirely lose my focus. Outside of the gym, it's I'll go and I'll do something I like. So,
Guitar.
exactly. I was doing that this morning. So I was writing my essay this morning and I was like, I need a little break. I'm going to go make myself some breakfast, but first I'm going to play guitar for 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then I go and I make myself breakfast. I'll go play guitar and then I'll go back to writing my essay. Those little transition times really have helped me be able to push through the day.
Do you have something in competition you really like to do before, or even funny stuff you do just like
Little rituals?
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of.
Ooh, okay. Well, I think this is common for a lot of athletes, but I visualize. So I go through and imagine myself doing what I want to do. Um, I think that there is the little ritual I have is I always warm up the same way. So whenever I'm doing an event, I always warm up the same way I have in training, no matter what competition, no matter how I'm feeling.
Do you listen hard music, hardcore music, and like techno?
I do have music, and I don't like calm music before I compete. I like to get the energy going. I like to get the blood pumping and
Yeah.
heart rate up a little bit before I go into comp. So I definitely do listen to music, and for the past 6 or 7 years now, it's always been I listen to Eminem before competition.
Yeah.
That's always it.
Like it.
Lose Yourself has been it.
I do that too. um, when you feel like you're reaching your limit, what do you do?
That's a great question because I definitely felt like I reached my limits this week. This week was really heavy on conditioning, so we were really just pushing to our max and then seeing how much further we could go. And I think that when I get close to my limit, there's always this thought in my head like, okay, like maybe you should stop now. Like you're getting close, and then I'm always telling myself, no, like I got more in me. I got more in me. And I remember like during the conditioning, our coach really really loves to see how far we'll go. So he'll tell us to start doing an exercise, and he won't tell us to stop, and we'll just keep going until nothing else happens.
Yeah, it's like playing with your life.
It's conditioning exercise, so it's safe.
Okay.
It's not risk of injury. And it's just mentally, we want to train ourselves to the point where even if we think we're at the edge, we can always give it a little bit more to get what we need to do done.
That's why you did well at the World Championship when you had the poison in food.
That yeah, it's a habit, honestly, not a habit. It's a reoccurring event that I end up competing sick. So World Championships 2022, I was sick. Pan Am Games, I was sick. And then this World Championships, I was sick. I just can't catch a break.
Oh my
You
god.
say in some interview, um, you have to make the decision for you, not for the other. How do you apply this today?
I think that you have to make the decisions for yourself first. Everybody else has other expectations of you, other thoughts on what you should be doing, what you can be doing. But at the end of the day, I genuinely believe that you know yourself best and that you, for the most part, understand what is right for you. And that might be the complete opposite of what other people are telling you. So, for example, when I moved to Montreal, there was a lot of people that really would have loved for me to stay in Ontario and to stay there, train there, still compete there. And I don't think I would have accomplished as much as I have if I hadn't. And I think that you need to make a decision for yourself, and that decision should benefit you and benefit others.
How do you know it's the best decision? You know, like as an athlete, I know that. And I make some decision for myself, you know. And I was like, okay, but how I can know that is the right one I'm doing right now?
If I think I know it's the best decision if I can know that I won't regret it. So I definitely, if I hadn't moved to Montreal, I would have definitely regretted not trying
Mhm.
and coming here and seeing what it's like. I knew I would have regretted. So for it to be the right decision, you really have to understand, can I live with myself if I don't make this decision? If I go this way, if I go that way? You have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I gave everything I had and this was the right call.
And this is so important. I want like people who is watching that really hear that, because like it's exactly what I wanted you to say.
But we can say in this moment, when you move in Montreal, it's the moment you decide to choose yourself.
Yep. That is definitely the moment I chose to really put my needs and my wants first.
It was the first time.
That was probably the first time I really took it seriously, where the decision was solely mine.
Mm-hmm.
I had just recently became an adult, so the decision was mine to make. Before, I had always had the guidance of my parents. They were really helping me, and my parents are still really helping me today. But they said, like, this decision is completely yours. If you want to move, you move. If you want to stay, you stay. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
So yeah, now let's talk about your family. You wanted to talk about your family support. Um, what do they represent for you?
My family, honestly, they represent my biggest fans. They are number one supporters. For the longest time, they were chauffeurs driving me to and from gym, professional chefs cooking me my meals to fuel my next day of training. They really filled multiple roles of the support staff that professional athletes have, and they did that out of the kindness of their hearts. They weren't getting paid. I wasn't paying them.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
just
they will ask you soon.
well, I'll work on that then. But not only that, but they also footed the bill. Gymnastics is not a cheap sport, and I will never be able to repay them for footing the bill of my gymnastics.
Can you tell us approximately how much it costs for one season?
For one season, just training costs at the competitive level that I am now, it's around $6,000 to $7,000 depending on where you are and what club you're in and who your coach is.
Yeah.
That's pretty standard. That doesn't include competitions you have to travel for. That doesn't include equipment and other stuff.
And your rent,
Yeah, that
food,
doesn't
and
include
all that
rent,
stuff.
food, nothing else.
Psychology, maybe if you have some team, medical team behind you.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, how you do you handle the distance between you and your family?
I try to go home whenever I can. It is tough sometimes. Um, I try to go back home whenever I can. I call my sister when I can. I call my dad. I call my mom when I can. But it doesn't really make up for the seeing them in person. And I try to call my grandparents whenever I can too, because they're getting older. They can't necessarily travel to come see me. So I only see them when I have the time to go back home. And unfortunately, I don't really have much time to go back home. And if I do, it's very, very short lived.
Yeah.
So I really just I try to stay in touch with them as best I can, and I update them on my life, they update me on their lives, what they're doing, stuff like that. So that even though we're far apart, we're still a very much active role in each other's lives.
You're the older between your sister?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a 2.5 year difference between my sister.
Is she doing gymnastics
She
also?
was. She
Yeah.
recently retired.
Okay.
You have some moment or some message from them touch you like really much. Oh,
I think that so it was our Olympic trial event, and I had a really bad competition, and after the competition, before any decisions were made, I knew I didn't make the Olympic team. And I remember walking up to my dad, and I just told him, I blew it. It's done. And he said, I'm proud of you no matter what.
Wow.
I had just missed everything I had worked for in my life, and he's still proud of me. That moment was very, very encouraging, especially when I was really not feeling great. So I think that that is one of the most supportive and memorable words that my parents have ever told me. And then I remember seeing my dad had came to watch 2023 World Championships where we had all this success, and um, the exact same line, I'm proud of you no matter what, you did great. So even in the success, even in the failure, still proud of me, and he's shown it on both occasions where I've had my lowest low and my highest high.
Wow. So beautiful. They come every time in your competition?
My dad tries to come to whatever competitions he can. My sister comes when she can as well. So my sister has been to both Commonwealth Games and FISU Games to watch me, and my dad has been to almost all of them. I think.
Yeah.
I think almost all of them. Yeah, actually, there's maybe one or two that he couldn't make it to, but he came to almost all of them. My mom has come to Commonwealth Games, FISU Games, and she also watches all the local competitions like Elite Canada and Nationals. So they are really there supporting me. And honestly, we don't have a very big crowd in gymnastics.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of spectators in the sport. And so that means you can always pick out them out in the crowd. They're not hard to find. You know where they are. So seeing them there is always so reassuring.
Yeah, you feel like you are at home, you know. You
Yeah.
see the face in the tribune and you're like, okay, now I can perform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you can continue this sport without them support or?
No, I definitely don't think I could continue without their support. They have been so influential in my career up to this point, and they they really keep me going. Their support really does mean the world to me. Um, it's always so nice when they come to the competitions and they're there to support me, and it's almost like I'm doing it for them too. Obviously, I'm doing it for myself, but to some extent, I still want to make them proud. I kind of owe it to them for all their support over the years. Even when I was, an ungrateful little kid for them, we all go through that stage at some point. I think I definitely owe it to them because they put up with me for so many years.
Yeah. Well, they bring you everywhere. They pay for everything. So like, yeah, for sure. So that's the same for me. If okay, they're watching you for sure today. And do you have something to tell them?
Thank you for everything. That's what I would tell them. You guys have been absolutely incredible throughout my entire career. I know you guys are going to continue to be incredible and support me however you can, and I love you guys.
So cute. I'm gonna cry. Okay, so you're a student, and I want to know what you're studying and why this program.
So, I'm currently studying at Concordia in philosophy. I didn't always start out in philosophy. I originally started in finance and economics.
Okay.
So, when I transferred over here was really when I kind of decided that, okay, yeah, I think I want to be a lawyer and go to law school. Let's go look into what programs are highly accepted. And uh, philosophy was amongst them because you learn very good critical thinking skills and how to argue and debate. I was like, you know what? I've always liked philosophy. This might be interesting. So I transferred out of finance and economics, and now I'm in philosophy.
Wow, you prefer that than finance and economy?
I don't miss the math. I'll tell you that. I do
Yeah.
not miss doing math.
But how you balance like between study and elite sport?
I wouldn't say it's a balancing act. I'd say it's a juggle. Sometimes you have to throw one ball higher than the other in order to be able to catch it again. So it's really just if it's heavier gymnastics season, I dial down on the school. If it's heavier school season, I dial down on the gym. It's never perfectly balanced,
Yeah.
so it's always up, it's always down, and it's just about finding the right timing of what to focus on when.
And breathe between
Exactly.
transition.
Exactly.
You publish a book, just right here. Why write and why? Well, not now. Yeah, it was 1 year ago. So why?
Writing was something I started doing in high school, and it was never with the intention of coming out with a book. That was I. If you tell me I'm an author, you tell me this 4 years ago, I wouldn't believe you. But I really liked writing because it was a way to get all the thoughts in my head out. Because it gets really noisy in there, and I only have room for so many things to think about. If I can get it out on paper, it really, really helps not only to calm the voices in my head that are really loud sometimes, but also to really be able to reflect on what's going on.
It's memories of a lover. Did you write for someone?
I did not write for someone. So that book was really inspired from my own experience, as well as the experience of others. And I think I really wanted to try to reflect the unique emotion that love is and really humanize it, and that's what I tried to do there.
Yeah, so it's like really your experience doing your life, right?
Yes.
Um, what's the most important message you want to leave through your book?
Most important message I want to leave to my book. Ooh. Feel everything that there is to feel. The world would be very bleak without emotion.
Yeah,
It's everything is there to be felt and feel it wholeheartedly.
like it.
You use the feeling in your sport? Because most of athletes try to like not thinking, not give emotion because emotion can be good or can be bad, but you really use.
I really like to feel everything in the moment. And even if I don't show it externally, I am definitely taking everything in because I don't know when I'm going to get the chance to experience this. The highs and lows are what make sport so incredibly interesting to me. That diversity, that adversity, it's just, I don't know when I'm going to get the opportunity to compete again. So I just really want to feel and take in everything I can. And I really want to get the most out of sport, competition, trainings that I can.
It was your mindset from the beginning you start like your elite competition? Because for me, when I had my accident, it at this moment I was like, okay, I need to feel everything every day. Is it the same for you?
It was not always like that. So I was like, turn brain off, you don't feel anything for a very, very long, long time. And I kind of realized that that was not sustainable. Because if I don't listen to myself, it opens up the door for a multitude of bad possibilities.
Yeah.
I need to listen to myself, what my body's telling me, what my mind is telling me, to really optimize my performance. It's not a bad thing to feel bad. You just have to use it to really reevaluate where you stand and to go and move forward with a smart plan.
Yeah.
Did you have like some writer or some athlete you really inspire you?
I always there's two athletes I'd say that incredibly inspired me. One of them is Corey Patterson. He was the older gymnast that I grew up training alongside. So he was always the type of gymnast I aspired to be, in terms of his style, his look, his performance. He was the older guy I looked up to when I was a young kid, so he's definitely a big inspiration. And then the another inspiration I have is my teammate Sam Zakutny. Absolutely incredible athlete, an incredible person. Um, his story is very, very up and down. Um, he, in the last quad, he blew out his ACL, came back, and literally his first competition back tore his pec. And this is all while we're trying to qualify a team for the Olympic Games. And in his timeline of recovery, he would just be good enough to compete come Olympic trials. And I know for a fact that it would have been really easy to call it quits. Nobody would have judged him for saying, hey, like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. But despite all that, he hung on and accomplished his goal of becoming an Olympian. I find that story
Wow.
so inspiring, especially not only the facts of the story as they are, but the privilege I had to train alongside him and watch him go through that. I have I can say there's very few people I have met that have his resolve, his determination, and just his sheer will to make something happen. He is truly an inspiration and a motivation for me still to this day. And even though we're good friends and we're really good teammates together, he's still somebody I look up to.
Okay, nice. We update little bit your next competition. What is the major event in your calendar?
So the next major events in this upcoming calendar aren't until after the new year. I'll be competing at Elite Canada in Calgary in February. So this is a competition where we have our really highest level national athletes competing. And this year, actually, we also have gymnasts from Stanford coming up to compete, Stanford University. So it's really going to be an excellent showing because Stanford has a really strong gymnastics. They have some of the best gymnasts in the world, and obviously we do in Canada too. We have some amazing, incredible gymnasts, and it's really going to be a very interesting battle because it's supposed to be kind of Canada versus the USA more or less. So it's really going to be an interesting competition. And then after that, we have, I'm pretty sure we'll have DTB Pokal in Germany.
What is that?
That is a very cool competition. So this competition actually features one of the styles that we didn't talk about, and it's the mixed cup, which is supposed to be added to the LA 2028 Olympics. So this competition has the normal set of competitions, the individual, the team, the event finals, the all-around final, that kind of stuff. But this competition also features a mixed cup, which is where girls and guys compete together to produce a team score. So it's very cool because you compete on 4 events. So the girls have to do all their events because they only have 4, but guys have 6. So we have to be strategizing which events are we going to do when, because it's based on the standings after the 3 rounds. The scores reset to 0, and the first and second duel it out, and the third and fourth duel it out for their respective positions. So it's really a cool competition. It's very much put on to be a show, to be entertaining. So that's a really cool competition that I had the opportunity to compete in last year. So I'm really hoping that I get selected again to go. But I do believe Canada will be sending a team. And then after that, our next competition is probably nationals in May, which is in Oshawa, little closer to Montreal, still far, but and that will be a really great competition because it's also going to be our Continental Championship selection event,
Pan game.
Pan Am Championships.
Oh, okay.
Games is every 4 years,
Okay.
but um, the Pan Am Championships is a really great competition that lots of people want to go to. So everybody's going to be bringing out their A game at this nationals, and it's going to be a really tense, really crazy event, especially with people trying to do the big routines, the big upgrades, and just really trying to dial in to do the best they can.
So what will be the biggest event next season?
Well, next season, later in the year, it'll be World Championships. That is definitely a huge event. It's World Championships, and this World Championships is where teams start qualifying for the Olympics. We start qualifying pretty early. So that is a huge event to mark your calendars for. It'll be middle of October 2026. And then we also have Commonwealth Games this summer,
Okay.
which is a really cool competition that I had the opportunity to compete at. It's all the Commonwealth countries, and that is one of the best competitions I have ever been to. It is very much oriented to be watched and enjoyed. It's like a big show, spotlights, announcers, commentators, the whole deal. It was absolutely insane. And I really hope that I get selected to go again.
Yeah. I hope you will go in Olympic next time. I hope you will be
That's the goal. I'm
the
going to try to
one.
make it happen.
Yeah.
If not, I guess I got to stick around till 2032, right?
Yeah. Yes, it's a long time.
We won't make episode when you.
Yeah, when you go in Olympic, after that you come back here and we.
And maybe next time we can do it in French.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing.
Okay, I'll get on it.
Yeah, perfect. With your guitar, please. Bring your guitar and your second book. Okay, there's so much things. Um, what makes you want to continue despite the pressure and the sacrifice?
One thing that really makes me want to continue to compete and train despite the sacrifices that I need to be that despite the sacrifices that I need to make and the pressure that I feel, I still have goals that I haven't gotten to yet in the sport. There's still so much that I have to do for myself, and the fact that it's still on the table keeps me going through all the pressure, all the ups and downs. I don't want to leave anything on the table. I want to walk away knowing I gave it everything I had and really be fulfilled in my contribution to the sport.
What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear? Ooh, my biggest fear. Being forgotten. I think that for me, a lot of my gymnastics career is about leaving a legacy and inspiring the next generation of gymnasts. And I think if I'm forgotten, I think I failed in that goal of mine.
Yeah. And what is your biggest dream?
My biggest dream is to become an Olympian.
Yeah, of course. I mean, everyone. When you're athlete, everyone want to.
It's a moment of we give you the microphone and you can ask or me or Solène or both of us one question of your choice.
Hmm. What's your favorite part about gymnastics? Both of you. I'd like an answer from both of you.
The body of the man. The muscle. No, actually, it's like, yeah, it's this. Man is beautiful. Um, it looks so easy. Like for real. Like it's look really easy and when you see people doing it, it's like I don't know, you don't feel that it's hard, you feel okay, maybe I will do it. But like it's beautiful and it's so clean and like there's not every detail is perfect, you know? Like everything till your nail.
What I think I like is in this sport, the winner of the day, it's the athlete be the best in the day. Like you can be the top athlete and sometimes missing, but how what I see in gymnastic, I not look that much, but I look in Olympic most of the time, and it's really like all athlete push the self, and I really appreciate how the technique be just nice, like perform the technique. It's really speak for me.
Yeah, I saw your video pommel horse. I didn't know about that and I'm just watching it and like it's crazy. It goes so fast and like you change your hand and I was like, oh my god, how he do that? Like you need to have flexibility to up your leg and like the muscle and all that stuff. And I was like, how he do that? I need a
Here's a
lesson with
perfect
him.
example. If you'd ever like to come try some gymnastics, let me know. We can set it up.
Yeah, I think we can do
I don't
some.
skate very well, but maybe you guys could help me out with that.
Oh, it's easy.
Easy? I don't know. You haven't seen me on ice yet.
We need to try to change sport. Yeah, it's a good idea. But
Yeah.
I have one question. It's really different, like uh, gymnastic girl and gymnastic man. You have like kind of
They're
different.
two very different sports.
Yeah,
Yeah?
really.
Yeah. Now, I will say a lot of it looks kind of similar, but they're judged under a completely different set of rules. We share floor and vault, which are judged a little bit similarly, but it's a different set of rules for both. And that's what a lot of people get confused about. They think, "Oh, men's, women's gymnastics, it's the same." They're two very different sports that share the same name.
Okay, so you don't have the same technical element, right?
There's stuff like handstands and some certain flips. They're universal across both. However, there's actually a lot of very particular things that are unique to only those sports. So girls get judged on artistry. I'm not I think it is artistry. I'm not a professional in WAG sports, but they get judged on like how artsy their movements look and stuff like that. That category doesn't even exist for men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so it's really like two different sport.
Yeah.
But you have like the same federation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They both fall under the same national sport organization.
Yeah, but example, you have the same word. It's
Yeah.
in the same time. You
Yeah.
not like do okay.
Yeah.
No, I really be interesting because it's really not look at the same.
Yeah.
We can't say it's the same because yeah. Okay.
Well, I watch sometime gymnastic on television when it's Olympic, but I never watch like for competition like championship or whatever. But now I will, and now I will see. Okay, you explain to us some stuff, and I will say, okay, so there's strategic behind this. It's not like just like that or
Yeah.
just like
That's
that.
one
So.
of the things that is so hard for people to get into gymnastics because they really start to dive into the technicalities once they have an interest for it and then they get lost. Even me, I've been doing the sport for 20 years. There's so much about this sport in the rules that I don't understand. It's kind of crazy. I should know more, but I don't.
Oh, well, I will say like it was the same for me in ice dance. Like we don't know all the rules. That's why we have coach and people around us.
Exactly.
You're here to do your best and perform. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jason, for sharing your journey, your determination, your clarity, and the reality of high level sport. Thank you for being transparent about what you're going through, the pressure, the difficult moment, but also what keeps you going.
And for those of you listen or watching, don't forget you can find this episode and all of them in YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. We also invite to check in our social media. So enjoy.
Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share the episode if you enjoy it. It helps us so much and it allows us to keep bringing the athlete and inspire guests like Jason.
And if you are discovering our podcast today, go to take a look of a previous episode. We talk about sport life, career, life experience, and everything that share the story we don't always see.
Well, see you very soon in 15 days for the new episode of So Geo. Thank you for being with us.
Bye.